Hello everyone, welcome back to another EVE Online video. Today we'll be checking out the Rogue Drone event that's going on right now, all across the cluster, in all spaces, all securities. They're going to spawn, from what I can tell, fairly randomly in almost every system, and I have been told that they are spawning in wormhole space as well. So, for those of you that don't know, there's a Rogue Drone event going on right now. The Rogue Swarm Alert, I think is what they're calling it. The site name is a Rogue Swarm Nest. So, basically, what you do is you kill the drones. And I know that sounds very stupid, but that's exactly how this event works. You warp in, you kill a bunch of rogue drones, and then you receive sometimes epic loot. So most of the loot that I've been getting have been skins for various ships of all kind of sizes, classes, etc. Some people have told me that you can get drone blueprints, and of course you are also able to get the Rogue Swarm Accelerator, which you can see I've picked up one right off the bat. This is the first site I ran, and I got one right away. It was absolutely great. I was very excited to get that. So essentially what I did was I just set up a route, a fairly arbitrary, waypoint system, and was just roaming between these systems basically, looking for these sites, and they do spawn fairly quickly. One time I sat around in a system for a couple minutes and I saw like 3 of them spawn up, so they seem to be quite common, which is nice. So here I am trying to find that accelerator in my inventory, and of course I scrolled past it a couple times and I didn't realize it. But so, of course Concord is advising against the use of these, untested rogue drone accelerators, right? But the nice thing is that they're specifically for this event. They will expire after a little while, after the event is finished. So if you have some and you haven't gotten rid of them or used them yet, you might want to do that before they end up expiring, and then you ended up kind of wasting your time, I guess. It didn't make any money or any boosting effects. So here we go into attributes, and we'll see that it gives 10 points to all of the stats that you can have. So of course it's going to make character training much faster. As far as I can tell, this is able to be used by alpha clones and omega clones, so no matter what state your account's in, you'll be able to boost your training speed to the much faster level. It's only 10 points, not the 14 points that we've seen in other sort of cerebral accelerators. I think you got one from like the starter pack or something like that. There was a 14-point one, but it only worked for a couple of days. But this one can be used by characters of any age, so no matter who you are, you should be able to take advantage of this. So I'm going to go ahead and take one of those now, and you can see that it's boosted my training time considerably. Now of course, because I'm old school and I want to make sure it's taking effect, I pause my skill queue and then I resume it, just so that way I can be 100% sure that it is effective, right? Because that's something you used to have to do. So I wanted to make sure that I was getting the full effect of it. So here we are at another site, Rogue Swarm Nest. So I'm dropping an MTU because originally I was going to salvage all the wrecks. I eventually decided not to, just because it wasn't worth it, honestly. Because of course normal rogue drones typically do not drop any kind of loot. Sometimes you get rogue drone AIs, but they're not very spectacular from what I can tell either. So I was going to salvage them, and eventually I decided it wasn't really worth it. So essentially we're just going to kill them all and wait for their sort of boss to warp in. He's the Swarm Overmind. Now there's a couple different size classes that the Swarm Overmind can be. Some people have told me that there's a chance that it'll spawn a battleship, which I have not seen. I've only seen a cruiser and a battle cruiser sized Overmind drone. So depending on the security of the space you're in, you may or may not see the larger size classes. There may even be bigger capital size ones. I'm not really sure. Like I say, all I've seen is the cruiser and the battle cruiser size. So there's a couple waves of rogue drones. As you can see, this Confessor takes them out quite nicely. At the beginning I wasn't sure if it was going to be enough, because I was hearing that you needed like a cruiser or like a battle cruiser to run these sites. But really, you can pretty much run them in just about anything. I saw a Merlin, which is a Caldari frigate, running these sites, and I think he was doing pretty well. So honestly, I think you don't really need much. But I decided I would use the Confessor mostly because it's the best small ship that I had for beam lasers. It's been a while since I used beam lasers, and I figured it's a lot cheaper than like spending ammo on a missile ship or like railguns or hybrids or whatever. So I figured this was probably the best way to go. Also, of course, rogue drones are vulnerable to EM, so I figured lasers it's the perfect combination. So once you've killed off the couple waves of drones that spawn, occasionally you'll get a notification that says the nest is stirred, a swarm approaches, and then that's when you'll get a bunch of actual drone-sized drones that are similar to the ones we would use, like the light scout drones, things like that, Hobgoblin, Hornet, etc. But they're rogue drones, and they'll come after you, and you can take them out. They don't take much to kill. So then eventually you'll get to the Swarm Overmind, which is the boss at the end of the site, essentially. So you shoot him, you kill him, and then you loot his corpse, or in this case, wreck. So for me, it's mostly been dropping skins, a couple of the accelerators that you saw before. Now, one thing that you want to look out for, of course, is theft, right? So because of the way EVE Online is, it's very cutthroat. So even though if you killed the boss and it's your wreck, right, somebody can of course go suspect and steal it. Now, you can shoot them when they do that, but you have to make the determination as to whether or not you want to risk getting into combat with whoever that is. And of course, you can try to steal theirs if you want to, but then they might decide that it's worth the risk to try engaging you. So you always got to kind of gauge that to see if maybe it's a good idea or not. Some people might think so, some people might not think so. It all depends. So we're just warping to another site, just kind of gate to gate, checking out, just going between different systems. And I actually ran into quite a lot of these sites, so they're fairly common. And if there's not one where you are, either just stick around a minute or two, or just hit the next gate, because you're probably going to find one. Like I say, they're fairly common. So here we go, warping to another one. Just kind of deciding what crystals to use in my beam lasers, because didn't want the T2 Aurora ones to burn out too quickly. So I figured I'd opt for a different one. Sharpshooter mode is very nice for these because of where you warp in at. And it just gives you a really nice range, so you can hit them out from here for more or less full damage. And then of course the Confessor is fast enough that it can get over there in a hurry anyway. So one trick against or for ninja looting, depending on who you are, the Overmind will only spawn in like one of two places, so if you can kind of preempt where you think he's going to end up warping in at, you can kind of get over there quicker before some of the other people that might be running the site with you. And then you can, loot it if it's yours, or you can steal it if it's theirs, depending on who you are and how fast you are. Of course, somebody else could do the same, so always be on the lookout. So you'll see, just kill a couple waves of the drones, and then the boss will spawn in. Wanted to show a few of them just so you can see the sort of consistency, that they're mostly the same. Like I say, sometimes you will get a different boss spawn. Sometimes you'll get the little drones that spawn. But it's mostly straightforward. You just shoot a bunch of drones, collect some loot. And I think events like these are very interesting. They add some more diversity to the EVE Online universe. They give us all something interesting to do, something different. Because most of the time people see rogue drones and they're like, yeah, okay, rogue drones. They skip on that mission, or they don't do that site, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not really worth their time. They'd rather be shooting Guristas or Angels or something else, right? It's more worth it for them. But in this case, it gives us a reason to shoot rogue drones besides the fact that they're there. In this case, they're dropping some pretty decent loot. Some skins, if you haven't got them, you can activate it, or you can maybe sell it on the market for a pretty penny. Also, one other thing, since I've been away for so long, the new explosion effects are quite nice. I really do enjoy how awesome things look when they explode. It's absolutely awesome. So you can see there I just got a skin. Well, I didn't, rather. The other guy got it. But still, just a skin. So, not really worth for me to steal, because skins aren't all that worth it for me. So alrighty, I think that's pretty much going to wrap up today's episode. So, like I say, get in on this drone event. Grab some boosters, grab some skins. There's other loot involved as well, so just get in on it, grab some of that stuff, and have a good time. Fly safe.